Hi everyone, I'm Juliana from Flight. I think you already saw me a couple of times. Today we have a special guest, Andreas from Berlin.
Hello.
Andreas had been drinking. So yeah, Andreas has a very cool ukulele store in Berlin, and we were lucky to visit it last year when we were in Berlin for the ukulele festival. As you can see his amazing ukulele wall behind him. He sells mostly super expensive Hawaiian ukuleles. And we met first time, I think, in January last year.
Yeah,
And
right.
we've been friends ever since. And we've been trying to find ways in which we could work together because Andres has super high standard and he sells only super premium and expensive ukuleles. And we were like, wow, it would be nice if Andres could sell Flight in his store. And now finally, today is the day,
Yes.
the big reveal.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah. So we're very happy about it. Guys, if you have some questions, you can send them here. So we will answer them during the live. And yeah, where are you from, everybody? How many people? We have 24 people.
Put my glasses on, otherwise I can't see anything.
And says Andreas had been drinking. I don't know about that.
No, not yet. I was waiting for the video.
Yeah, we have a message from Italy, from Russia. So yeah, all cool. So let's get started. Where do you want to start? With questions or with ukuleles?
Whatever you want, just shoot.
Okay, let's start a little bit history. How did you start with the ukuleles? And yeah, and with the store, I think it's like one question leads to another.
Yeah, I started like 40 years ago with guitar, as many people, and then learned five-string banjo, which was my main instrument for years. And I think it was around 2000 when a friend of mine gave me a video of an instructional video of Jim Beloff, how to play ukulele, something like this. And it wasn't that interesting, I have to say. But at the end, he had a special guest, Herb Otter. And Herb Otter was playing his rendition of Girl from Ipanema with the percussion stuff going on. And I was blown away. And, you know, back then, 20 years ago, nobody knew about ukulele in Germany. So I found his videos, his instruction videos in Japan and all of them, and learned them just for fun because I loved this the style he played. And then a couple of years, I would say like 2002, I met in Frankfurt at the Musikmesse, I met Rick Sauer, who back then had a different lineup with the treble instruments. So he had like banjos and guitars and also ukuleles. So I played for him in Frankfurt for the show for years. And at some year, I can remember when it was, I think 2007, he completely changed his lineup and only had ukuleles there. And I was pretty surprised because back then nobody had, nobody was selling ukuleles, not real ukuleles, not decent stuff.
Sure.
So I only played ukuleles for him, and actually, to be honest, I could play like 5 songs on the ukulele. That was it. And in 2009, he became the distributor of Carla, and Mike Upton, the boss of Carla, came to the show in Frankfurt and introduced his ukulele bass. And we ended up playing sessions together at the booth. And this was very successful because the ukulele bass is just a great instrument. Mike is a wonderful bass player. And then he invited me to the NAMM show in 2010. And I played at the Carla booth. There I met all the Hawaiian guys. And after NAMM, I went over to...
And the NAMM show about them.
Of course. I went over to Hawaii and played with all those guys and met them. And I think it was like around 2014, I thought, why is nobody selling these nice instruments in Germany? So I had some time left in January, I had some money left. I went to the NAMM show, went to Hawaii and started with some koalas and some caneleas. That was it. Basically, I already sold maestros in Germany because I met them in Frankfurt and I played maestro. So I just imported like 10, 20, 30 pieces back then. And was selling them not online, just here in my little apartment. And this is how it started 5 years ago.
So 2014. Oh, cool. Cool. That's a super nice story. We have Italy, Paolo, ciao. And then we have a question. Are you still okay with all that going on? Yes, actually in Slovenia, the lockdown, the coronavirus situation is kind of getting easier. So a lot of stores open this week and yeah, life is getting back to normal. What about Germany?
Yeah, some store in Berlin is a little slow as always. Restaurants are not open yet. The hairdressers. I have my appointment tomorrow. I look like a jerk.
Me too. Me too.
But we talked about it. My nail store, my nail lady is still closed. It's so stupid. She's not allowed to open. So this is bad for me. But anyway, we are slowly getting back to normal. I think Berlin is always slower than the other counties here in Germany. But I think in a week or so, everything
This is funny.
kind of back to normal.
Cool. Good. Yeah. Guys, if you don't know, but some musicians really rely on their nails to play. So Andres is one of them. So we really wanted him to play something during the live, but he said that
I can play some
without his nails.
Stupid sounding. I mean, these are so nice instruments, so I want them to sound nice.
Okay.
But I can play some.
Okay. Let's. There was actually one question about the new ukes, like the price.
Yeah. So we have the mahogany model, the WUS-3. That's I think it's 290. Yeah. Brother and sister. So 290 or 299, I think, retail price.
Yeah.
Here in Germany, including the shipping costs if I ship to Germany. And then we have the core model, the WUS-4, which is 420, which is a great price. As I wrote on my website this afternoon, you probably can't read German, and many of
we read pretty much can read German.
Oh, you can. Okay, so yes. You know what I was saying. So the bottom line is, I never played an instrument that sounded so much like Hawaii, like this one, for this price. It's amazing. It's amazing. It is laminated wood, I know, but as I said, also on the website, when I played this last year in Frankfurt, when you showed me that one, I didn't know. I didn't realize that it's laminated wood. And, you know, it's as long as it sounds good, I don't care. You know, and if you get laminated wood for that price, then it's okay.
I think it is. And we were not sure, you know, because we were thinking the price 420 for a laminate instrument when you can get all solid from China for this money, so we're not sure to try it. And I think also that's why we decided to have a trial run, like so little, like just 10 pieces, but we are really happy with the feedback and we're super happy that you like them.
Yes. It's, you know, it's, as a musician, I don't care if it is laminate or not. And I don't want to say I have the full core instrument, no matter where it's made, as long as it doesn't sound good, I don't care. And this one sounds better than, sorry, any other Chinese core ukuleles I've ever played, honestly, you know. This is just, it has this Hawaiian feel. I'm on Hawaii now for 10 years in a row, every year a month. And so this sounds like Hawaii. And if it's laminated wood, it's laminated wood, I don't care.
I agree, and I think it's like more like a traditional style. So if you look at the uke, like modern Hawaii ukes, like ukuleles, they all look very modern, like glossy and fancy. But this one is like just.
It's very traditional, but on the finer points we have the gear tuners. We don't have the direct tuners. This is something I really like. The nut is 1 millimeter wider, which makes it, for me as a tenor player, makes it easier to fret. And then what I really like is this very fancy compensated saddle. So the intonation is very good, and you have 15 frets, which I really like because you can play the high C chord here. Koaloa, for example, I love Koaloa, but the sopranos only go to the 12th fret, so this is the reason not to play a Koaloa soprano for me. I don't need to go higher, but I need 15, and this has 15, so I really like this.
Yeah, I also like 15 frets more than 12. I don't know. Yeah. I like to have more for my money. We have a question. What is the difference with laminated wood versus solid wood? Is it more or less quality? How would you answer to that?
Most people think, and mostly it is true, that laminated wood is inferior and solid wood is superior. But there is a saying on why it's the maker, not the wood. So first of all, it depends on the maker and how he builds the instrument. And some luthiers can build instruments that sound better with laminated wood, like others when they take solid koa. You know, and I'm very, you know, with koa it's very funny because it is not, from my taste, it is not per se the best sounding wood. It really depends on who is building the ukulele. So when people come into my shop and they say, I want a koa instrument from Hawaii, so what they usually want is kanelea or koaloa, because koolao, I don't have them regularly because they're very rare and they're like thousands of dollars. So they say koaloa and kanelea, and I have to explain that these two brands, you can't get further away from the sound. So kanelea is this end, koaloa is this end, and everything else here in my shop is in between when it comes to sound. So it's both made on Hawaii, it's both made of koa, and it sounds totally different. So mostly it is true that laminated wood doesn't sound good. Mostly it's used because it's cheaper, but if you know how to do it, you can get great results. And due to the way it is glued together, like in this, you take different layers of wood and glue them together like this, so they're more stable. Which is definitely for the body, it's a good idea, because then it's like a fixed loudspeaker, so it can project well. And for the top, I think we talked about it with your other ukuleles. It's always a question of how thick is the top and how thick is the finish on top of it. So you can have the nicest looking solid koa, and then just half a millimeter too thick, and too thick braces and too thick gloss, and it sounds like that. So.
I know, it's very difficult to get it right. And the problem is that it's very difficult to know like how the ukulele is going to sound before you start building it. Like you can try to knock on the wood and like to hear something, but it's like really, really difficult. Yeah. I saw that you were selecting your own wood when you went to Hawaii.
Yes. Yeah, I like doing that because it's just fun. Just fun,
yeah.
you know.
Guys, I've never seen a ukulele shop that actually like chooses the woods and says like I will buy the ukes made from there.
I like to visit them, and I always go for dinner and for lunch with the ukulele guys. So, and I just pick ukulele. So why not pick ukulele sets? Because you never know. With this premium koa I picked, they are so different. If you have this standard koa that Kanelea offers, it's mostly like very similar looking, but premium koa can go anywhere. So when I'm there, why not? You know, it's a nice way of spending time.
I know. I like to look at nice woods as well. Okay, another question from Alexei. Price is $400. For koa one is 420 euros, and it's only available from Andreas in Germany. So you would have to go to his website and contact him if you want to buy it. I know it's made in the USA ukulele, which is not available in the USA.
That's a bit strange shipping wise. But...
I'm very sorry, but yeah, that's the reality. And we had one more question, Christoph. I don't know if you're still watching, but hola and bonjour. That's my friend from Alhambra. I think you know these guitars. And then we have comment asking if I recommend the travel uke or the pineapple. I think you should buy both because they are both very affordable. Like it's very difficult for me to recommend one after another. Both sound very loud, and yeah, I think they're both like very nice for the price. This one is soprano. Yes, it is soprano.
Yes, yeah, only soprano.
Yes. So okay, let's have a sound test.
Okay. So we start with a mahogany. It's funny, it always depends on who's playing that. This is something I learned in my shop. I would never thought, 5 years before, that this is so important. And I'm not talking about skill level or, advanced player or beginners. It's just if you strum a C chord, everybody sounds different. And this is why I don't like playing without nails, because it doesn't sound as it usually sounds for me. I find my nails the way that I get the sound that I want. So I sold one of the mahogany ones already to an ukulele player. She bought a couple of ukuleles here, and she wanted one for $1. And she actually was interested in the koa one because she can afford the koa one, but she ended up buying the mahogany because when she played it, it sounded much nicer. For me, when I play the instrument, it's the other way around. For my taste, it's your personal sound, and on top of that, your personal taste. So. This is why I like 15 frets. So this was the mahogany one. And I don't know if you can hear that on Instagram, but here in this room,
I can hear well.
okay?
I think this is the best sound I had in like
Yeah,
in
so
4 lives.
this is like this is the Koa Sparkle, you know. This high end. I don't know how to describe it. It's the same button, but on top you have this. It sounds like the curtain is torn away. You know, it's clearer. It's not necessarily louder, but it's clearer. So the high end is stronger. Especially, you know, in the higher register, it just rings like that.
I think, you know, in Spanish there is a word brillante. I think it means like bright, but I like how it sounds because it sounds like brilliant. So like I like to think of this sound when I hear koyuks, because for me they're like sparkling diamonds, brilliant, you know, like making
I
this.
agree. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I use this description, but in English, bright doesn't sound as cool as brillante.
Brillante is nicer. You're right.
Yes, yes. So yeah, and yeah, we also very famous musician in Germany, like in the ukulele circles. You play at like big festivals and headline them, the big ukulele festivals. So can you tell us more about your band and your musical career, and how do you combine it with the store?
That's fairly easy actually, because we usually go on tour over a weekend. My bandmates, they both have children. They go to school, so they cannot go on tour for a week or two in a row. So we usually go on tour like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the shop is closed anyway over the weekend. And if I sell something online on Friday or Saturday, I can ship it on Monday. So this is no problem. And actually, I'm a musician, and although I think the shop takes more time than, especially now, because there's no gigs at all. So, so I'm glad that I have the shop. But even before Corona, I think the shop already takes more time than being a musician. But I always want to stay a musician, because this is my life. You know, this is what I want to do. And the good thing is, having this shop and earning some money here, I don't really have to care about money with playing live music. So I can, you know, choose where I want to play or where we want to play. And my colleagues are in a similar situation. They have also different jobs here in Berlin, so that we don't have to play everywhere, you know, so we can pick the nicest ones. So we play on a couple of nice festivals. So the band is called Ukuleles. The website is www.lucky-leles.com. So it's a singer, brilliant singer. She studied in Holland, jazz, vocals, and she also doubles on ukulele a little bit. And then we have an ukulele bass, great singer, and also great. Actually, we played in a jazz quartet for years. So he is a wonderful guitar player, and he plays ukulele bass, but also plays the electric ukulele. And we have this little storyline that we live together. And our singer, she wants to become the famous country star, and tries to persuade us to play country songs, but we hate country music. So, you know, I'm the Hawaiian nerd, obviously, in this show. And our bass player, he used to be a roadie with a rock band, and so he loves rock music. And so that's the storyline. And of course, at the end, the lady wins, and we all play country music.
Oh, I really like to see you perform. I think your performing is very good, but also the stage where you performed at the ukulele, it was really nice. It was like just the whole atmosphere. It was amazing. Like the sound system, like the venue next day was like just so different to the one on the first day. So yeah, I was like really glad that we made it, and we came there with Elise Eklund and with Anna Damit, and we've been traveling, doing gigs like every day, I think for a week, and that was like our first day when we didn't have to do anything. We just listened to music and had some drinks. So that was like really nice. And then I saw that you have very nice merch. So that's why I said you're a very famous musician, because your merch kit, like this little how it's called, like you open cooker. That case is very nice. It looks like very professional. Like.
Yes, it's a couple of CDs and T-shirts and stickers, and nothing special.
Yeah, but usually I don't see bands have, you know, like all this merch. You know,
Okay.
usually they just come and yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Danny even forgets to bring his CDs with him to the festival.
See, I have a different background. I used to play in professional bands the last 20 years, and even with roadies and trucks who, you know, build the stage before the musicians come and stuff. So this is normal for me. And so with the ukuleles, it's on a small scale, like one CD and like one T-shirt. So it's,
Okay, okay. I will not ask about the other, but other bands you don't do anymore. You just with ukuleles or?
yeah, I have in Berlin. So the German, I don't know, Instagram people probably don't know him. It's Larry Schuber. He is a pretty big name in the German country music scene. He's like 70 years old now, and I'm the musical director in his band. But we, you know, 70 years, so we don't go on tour that much. It's a big band with 8 musicians and sound tech and light, blah, blah, blah. So it's a very expensive thing. And country music in Germany is not that popular anymore. So the big festivals, they are not there anymore. But we play together now for, I think, 10, 12 years. And it's wonderful. It's honestly, it's the best band I've ever played with. They're so good musicians. We play like 1 or 2 gigs a month, if ever. So, and that's all. This is something I really like to do, playing Telecaster and banjo. But it's kind of a hobby band, although they are all professional. But the ukuleles and ukulele, this is what I love.
I saw that when we were messaging last week, you told me, "Oh, I'm busy on this day. I'm busy on this day because I have online rehearsals." I got
Yeah.
actually curious. How do you do an online rehearsal?
No, that's yeah. I have this orchestra here in Berlin,
Yeah.
and obviously we're not allowed to rehearse in the pub where we normally rehearse. So I'm giving workshops for this German company called Musica Viva, and obviously they don't have to do anything now. So the boss of Musica Viva, he asked me if or all teachers if they want to do webinars with Zoom, with the software Zoom, and I was one of the only like 4 of the teachers wanted to do that, so I did it, and so I had the chance to try out this platform, and it was fairly easy. So I just tried it with my orchestra, and the thing is, it's not a real rehearsal because they can hear me, but they can't hear anybody else. So for me, to be honest, this is I always tell them. For me, it's much easier to rehearse because in this normal situation in a pub, you know, when I count in, I think like 5 out of 10 times somebody is asking a question, right? And like, where do we start? What do we play? Because they don't pay attention, you know. And it's the social thing is much better, of course. But when it comes to music, the people, if you're online, they are much more concentrated because if they don't listen to me and if they don't know what to start, they can't ask a question. So, and it's totally quiet in my room. I only hear me. I don't hear the other 15 guys, you know, playing different stuff. So for me, it's very nice, and it's a good way to stay in contact because you can, you know, everybody can see each other. And in the beginning and at the end of the rehearsal, we always have like 5-10 minutes where we just talk. And as we were together now for I think like 4 or 5 years, so the people know each other well, and it's nice to just, you know, see all these faces on your computer screen. So that, yeah, it's nice. It's better than not rehearsing, you know.
I've seen like some people being very imaginative with Zoom. So some people have like these ukulele meetings where they all play together, and you know, like some other stuff. And schools use it for studying. And I also had like a couple of meetings. I prefer Skype, honestly, but Zoom also okay. I think it's a similar concept. But yeah, I'm glad that you make it work and that you prefer it to the live session. But okay, maybe I'm asking too many questions about these things. But how do you rehearse in a pub? They don't kick you out?
No, it's actually it's like a party room in the first floor above the pub. And there's stairs you walk up, so it's perfect. We can be as loud as we want to. Okay, ukuleles are not that loud. We can order drinks. And so they earn some money because the room, it's always Thursday night, the room is usually empty. So they earn some money, and we have a huge room, you know, it's like a ballroom. So it's a win-win situation. And it's like 200 meters away from my shop. So.
Okay, but this orchestra is like players, or you're teaching them?
15 people, all amateurs. They just do it for fun. We have a huge range of levels. So there are some people, like I would say beginners, and they can strum a couple
So
of chords.
you're the leader.
Yes, I'm the leader and I'm arranging the songs. And the idea was, like back then, 6 years when I started, the idea was to bring people together who can play on different levels. So I arranged the songs in different levels. And when I started 5 years ago, there was like people who came, they never touched an ukulele before. So I had one voice, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they can, they can make music with other people, and this is so motivating. But this is how it started. So nowadays I don't have this easy voices anymore. Nowadays it's like mostly. Back then I had like 5 or 6 or 7 different voices, so everybody could pick, picking, strumming, whatever. Now it's mostly like 3, because the range is not that far away anymore from the worst to the best player, but it's still quite a range.
That's so cool, because I saw that ukulele clubs usually play like the same thing together, but it's so nice that you arrange and you give different voices. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, this is how it started. There's another orchestra here in Berlin, Ukulele Orchestra. The fiddle player from a bluegrass band, he is running this orchestra, and I was invited to their first gig. And exactly as you said, you had like, I don't know, 20, 15 people who all played, and it wasn't together. And even if it were together, it's 15 people playing the same stuff. It's musically not very challenging and interesting for the audience. So I thought and I had many, back then I was teaching private instructions, face-to-face, and I had many of them as my students, and some of them said they're totally like bored stiff in the orchestra because they just strum a couple of chords. They want to learn more. And I had others said, I can play this. This is too difficult for me. So I saw the different levels, and almost nobody was satisfied in this orchestra because this mid-range level was just not there, or they didn't come to me. So I thought there must be a different solution.
Cool. Let's see, we have some questions. First is from Randall. Is the new uke made in Hawaii? I think Randall actually lives in Hawaii. Yes, Randall, this uke is made in Hawaii, but you can only buy it in Germany.
Aloha.
So sorry. We wanted to make it available in the States, but then the production suddenly ceased to be. So we only got the limited edition that we have here in Europe now. We will see if we can restart it in the future, but for now it is what it is. So Antonio, hi. You know Antonio, right? From ProArte. So
of course. Yes, Antonio.
So he's watching us. Can you ship to Hawaii? If you email Andres, I think you can talk to him.
Sure, I can ship anywhere in the world. Might be so expensive, but I could.
Randall, which island were you? Can you remind me? Was it a beer island or not? I'm not sure. But yeah, okay, let's move to the next question. Would you call your store influential? And when did you realize that you really made it, that people started talking about you?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't really think, this was not my intention when I started it. And this is still not my intention. It's just, my intention is to find, this is something I find interesting is, everybody can buy the most expensive ukes and put it in a shop. And the thing is, as I said before, with the laminated wood, my idea is to find the best ukulele for that money. So I have quite a range from like 200 euros to 9,000 euros. And it's easy to find good ukuleles for 9,000 euros. But then again, it's difficult to get them. This is what I found, because those makers, they don't make many numbers, high numbers. So this is difficult. And then it's more difficult to find a really good sounding ukulele like this one for lesser money. So this is what I'm looking for in the shop. If it becomes an influential shop, I'm glad, but it is something I don't think about.
Okay, that's usually what really successful people say. I don't think about it. It just happens.
No, I'm honest.
I just work hard. I have no ambitions, but I'm the best. Okay, we have a question. How much are your ukuleles? The new ones are 420 euros for the koa version and 290 euros for the mahogany version. and the rest of the prices are different in each country. So depending on your country, the price will be probably different. So for example, like Travel Ux have one price in Mexico, different price in USA, different price in UK, different price in Europe. So it's best to use Google and check the price in your country. Okay. What do you want to talk next? We have a question about workshops.
Yeah.
So do you host workshops? Like how often do you do them, and what were like your favorite ones?
To be honest, I only had one workshop so far in my shop, and that was the one that you organized.
Really? I thought
with
it maybe you do more.
I thought it was a very good idea to do it on a Friday evening before the Berlin Ukulele Festival started. Because I love this atmosphere. I love this getting together, and then you all went from here to the open mic of the festival. So it's like an earlier start of the festival. So therefore it was a good idea. I used to give, before I had this shop, there's the Leleland in Berlin, you probably know it. He's probably selling flight ukuleles, I guess. And
I'm not sure. We should ask Antonio.
Yeah,
he's on this chat. Antonio.
Yeah, Harry is the owner. He has a great shop with more like budget line ukuleles, and I think your ukuleles would fit very well. And Harry always hired me to do workshops there. So back then, this was like every 2 weeks on a Saturday, I gave a workshop, different stories, different topics, and everything. And I'm still doing this with Musica Viva, but I limited it to like three workshops a year with Musica Viva. Then I have one friend already, I can call her a friend, in Switzerland. She is organizing some like 2 workshops in Switzerland, and that's basically it. And so I don't want to do more workshops, and definitely not in my shop. So if Berlin Ukulele Festival takes place, we can do another workshop in my shop. This is no problem at all. I really love that.
I was surprised that it was full. There was not a single space. There was no space for me to sit. Like I had to stay outside because when we did the workshop with Danny, the room was packed.
It was packed.
I never seen anything like that. I was not expecting so many people to come because we announced like a couple of days before.
Yeah, like 2-3 days. Yeah.
So that was like amazing.
Yeah. But the power of internet.
Yeah, the power of internet and like power of Danny, you know, obviously like people wanted to learn from him. I hope they learned something useful. What sets you apart from regular musical instrument stores? Like what is the main difference between specialized ukulele store and just a regular music store that sells guitars and saxophones and, you know,
the first thing is I don't sell anything else but ukuleles and accessories like strings and cases and blah, blah, blah. The second thing is I can say that I know every company that I'm selling here. I know the guys who are making the ukuleles. So I go there, not every year, like in Hawaii, I go to Hawaii every year and I handpick the ukuleles at Kualoa and Kanilea and the wood sets. And of course I go to Ko'olau and Pono to John and visit all these people. I don't go to Maestro every year to Singapore and stuff like this. But once in a while, like probably I planned it next year. I don't know what next year will be with Corona.
Let's go together.
Yes, yes. So I plan to maybe cut a few days from my Hawaii trip and go back to California. I did this 3 years ago and went to see Blackbird in San Francisco and Mike Da Silva, and went up to Kala to Petaluma to see their elite ukulele. So this is something that probably nobody else is doing. You know, going to the makers, knowing them personally, and handpick the ukuleles. This is pretty special.
Oh, and I really like the long descriptions on your website. When we were reading the description that you wrote for our youth, we were like, oh.
Yeah, this is something I like. It's a good story. You know, this is what I say. We met on Hawaii and then we met in Frankfurt and blah. This is this personal relationship that I like with my ukuleles. This is why I don't want to, sell instruments where I don't know anybody. Like this anonymous brands from China, with 10,000 pieces are made in a month.
10,000 is not
It's
big,
not,
big quantity.
I
It's
don't
like
want to know.
30.
I don't want to know.
Okay, Randall from Big Island is asking, can you show the Hawaiian ukes? I guess we have to show them again and demonstrate
Yes,
them again.
of course. So you see, you have the gear tuners, side tuners, then
This is the Hawaiian koa, yeah?
this is the core one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should tell some people what is koa and why koa and acacia are not the same
Okay, so
thing.
koa is a tree from the acacia family, but it had to grow on Hawaii. Only if it's grown on Hawaii, it's allowed to call it koa. Acacia, you can get very close in look and sound, but it's always, there's like a little difference is there, you know, with koa from Hawaii. So that's the koa from Hawaii. And what I find special, again, this is like 36 millimeters, 1 millimeter wider. Then you have the Pacific walnut fretboard and bridge. And something I really like is the compensated, let me see, the compensated saddle. So the intonation is better. That's especially hard intonation on a soprano with a short scale. And something I really like, and I didn't point out before, is I don't know if you can see that. The neck is, first of all, it's pretty thin. Not really, it's not shallow, but it's thinner than most ukuleles. And the back is pretty flat. It's not. It doesn't have this D shape. And this is something I really like. If you see my custom ukes, the neck is totally straight. It's totally flat on the back, because I like for this thumb position, you know, as a classical player, classically trained player, this is very comfortable, and it's a nice feel because it's not gloss finish. So I like the neck the very first time I picked it up last year in Frankfurt.
And you like the wide, you said the wider,
Yes,
the wider nut.
It's 1 millimeter. It doesn't sound much, but honestly, 1 millimeter is a different world. Yes, you know, and it's just, I'm not a soprano player, so I always have a hard time with sopranos, and this 1 millimeter makes it just easier for me. I don't have to be so precise to put my first finger knuckle very like a 90-degree angle, not to mute the C string. It's just 1 millimeter more. It makes it a little easier.
How would you call this neck shape? Like C or D, or like, because we were not sure actually.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I always read
because
this, like,
I think that this is maybe D, because like C is the more round one and this one is not so round.
See, I always read this in guitar magazines and stuff, and I think like the D has this round and the C has the same round. So I don't know. I would just call it. I wouldn't call it with a letter, because I'm not sure. It doesn't say anything to me. It's just flat. It's just flatter in the back. And the most important thing is it's thinner. I don't like you know, I also carry the Ponos, and they're good value for the money, but I don't understand why the necks are so thick. I don't know none of my customers likes thick necks. So why do you do that? I don't really.
I think you mentioned to us also our uke necks, and we made them slimmer on some ukes. So yeah, it is a like ongoing problem with all the ukulele like makers, because you want it slimmer, but then it can be like less stable. I don't know.
This is I know. I heard this before often, but you know, the story behind that is, before I started with ukulele, this was like in the 1990s. I went to play at a harp guitar festival. You know, probably nobody knows what a harp guitar is, and it's not important. Anyway, I visited the harp guitar pope, the guy who organized everything, and he lived in Los Angeles. And back then he knew one, I forgot his name, because back then I was not in ukuleles. And he knew one of the biggest ukulele collectors in the world. And we visited him one day, and he had an old pineapple kamaka from the whatever 20s. And the neck was like not even a centimeter thick, and it was straight as brick. And I touched this neck and I thought like, wow, this is something special. I saw a similar neck last year when I was in Hawaii at Ukulele Friend. Sean also had an old pineapple, and it also had this thin neck. And then a couple of years later, when I went to NAMM the first time playing for Carla, this was 2009, I visited this collector again, and he had a Graciano I think Graziano, that's his name, a Californian ukulele builder. I don't know if he's still alive. Don't know anything about him. And he copied this neck of the old pineapple. And it was perfectly straight. And I think it's like 8 years ago when a German luthier who already died, he made me an ukulele, Klaus Mori. And back then I measured the neck of this Graziano ukulele. So this is like going back to the 20s to an old Kamaka. And Klaus was also afraid that this neck will bend. And I said, just build it. And if it bends, it's, you know, I have to deal with it. I have to pay you another, you know, to make another neck. And I have it now for 8 years and it's perfectly in shape. So ukulele strings, they don't, I mean, you shouldn't put Aquila strings on because they have this very high tension. But I'm not a big fan of Aquila anyway. So if you put fluorocarbon strings on, you have like 15 kilos, if ever. It's no problem. Honestly, this is no problem.
I think it all depends on the wood, like how dry it is. Because if you don't dry it enough, then it can move. But yeah, if it's good quality wood that's been in the warehouse for a long time, then yeah.
This is something that this is, of course, yeah, you have to have good quality wood. But if you have that, then it's no problem.
That's always like a search for the quality wood. Like we are good friends with Crafter guitars in Korea, and they buy wood and they store it like, I think for at least 3 years before making them into a guitar. Yeah. And in China, it's very difficult to find anyone who stored it for more than 6 months. And we are always looking for like wood that's been stored for a long, long time. And it's always a challenge, but we try our best.
Good.
Yes. Randall, do you want a sound sample? Can you play us a little bit? And Andres, a little bit, please.
Oops, my chair is making noises. See, and even this chime in the 5th fret, that's on a soprano and it's hard to get. So
which one is this? The core one?
Yeah, that's the core.
Can you play the mahogany just so we can like compare?
Yeah. Thank you.
I have some comments. It sounds so bright and happy. Yay! I agree.
Yeah, it was an Hawaiian song. So
yeah, when we found these ukes, we were like testing them, and I was like, wow, this is like totally different sounds, like from anything that I've played before.
Yeah.
And even though it was laminate, it was like just so brilliant, you know, like so bright. And yeah, we were like, okay, we want to import them. And at that moment, we didn't even know how much it was going to cost, like, because from Hawaii to Europe, we had to fly them. Usually we ship in containers, like by the sea, but we had to take them on a plane, and it's super expensive. But at that moment, we were like, okay, we don't care how much it's going to cost. We just want to bring them to Europe because we see that there are like European brands that are mostly making only in China, and they don't venture out of China so much. So we were like, okay, we want to bring Hawaiian ukes to Europe at an affordable price because we don't want to compete with kualohes and ukuleles because they have their own thing going on. But yeah, we are like super happy that we brought this little piece of Hawaii to Europe.
Yeah, me too.
Do you do setups like pickups, installations, left-hand ukes?
Everything. So I have a luthier who is working for me. He is the teacher in a guitar building school in Klingenthal. And this is where, so the interesting story is that he, as he knows me now for a couple of years, and knows how ukuleles, how interesting ukuleles are and how many are getting sold. So he teaches his students, or he tells the students they should think about also building ukuleles. And I got two builders already that finished this school, let's call it the school, and they are now building mostly or maybe only exclusively ukuleles, and they're sold through my shop. So he's spreading the word in Germany, become an ukulele builder and not a guitar builder, because the classical guitar scene is very small, and to get into this world is very difficult. And and Andreas, he is also called Andreas. He's doing all the repair work for me. So we developed a pickup system together, like different pickup systems, from a very affordable passive pickup to a high-end, like the Misi Trio, similar thing, an active pickup that you can charge with an off-board charger. And he's doing everything that I cannot do. So I'm not a skilled luthier, so of course I can do a setup, and I can even like file a fret down or something like this. Something is bothering, I can, file the nut, everything. But if something is too complicated for me, then I give it to him. And he's also doing all the repair work. And like when people just, destroy their ukuleles. Just last week I had the second time that a customer of me sent back a koaloa with a crack on the top because she just bumped into the door or whatever. So he's doing all that stuff, and also the pickup stuff and all the complicated work. And I do the simple stuff.
That's really cool. I think that's like the main difference of specialist ukulele stores and online stores, for example, because when you just buy online, probably nobody even opened the box. And, I like online stores, like big online stores, because it's like very convenient, like Amazon and stuff, like for electronics. Like if I want to buy a camera or laptop, they will mostly come the same. But like with the uke, I think that there are so many varieties of wood and so many things that can go wrong during transport. Like maybe it left the factory like in perfect condition, but then maybe something happened with it on the way. So like I always, I think, how to say, but recommend people to buy from specialist ukulele stores, because you get like more attention, you get people who know about the product, and you get people who know how to make it sound better. Because if you buy a ukulele which is not set up properly, it will not probably sound its best. It will sound like 50% of what it can sound.
Yeah, and you have buzzes, and sometimes it's too hard to fret. And especially a beginner, the nut is not filed down properly. Then you have to press too hard. The intonation is going sharp. So, this is frustrating for a beginner. So I think somebody has to look at the instrument before you ship it out. It's, as you said, it might come in perfect condition from the factory, but, it's wood, and it's alive. So sometimes the frets are sticking out, and, because of the humidity, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's very important to check the ukulele before you send it out. And I even go further. Most people don't even realize that because they don't know, how can they, that action is something that is very personal. So I always tell my customers, call me or send me an email, and we talk about the way you play, because mostly from factory, even koaloa, the action is so low. That's amazing. So you cannot go any lower. But Camilea, for example, they always set up their ukuleles to a fairly high action in the 12th fret, because they don't know how the customer is playing. So if you have one of those huge Hawaiian guys, who goes, you need a higher action than somebody who is like just picking very, very gently. So I always try to get in contact with my customer and talk about their playing style, and to adjust the action, because it's fairly simple. You just take out the saddle and file it down. And again, a millimeter, not even a millimeter, like 0.5 millimeters less action is a different world. If you get to this register, if you play a C chord, it doesn't matter. But if you play up the neck, then the action just has to be comfortable.
Yep, yeah, I think it's a big deal. And we get like some emails saying, oh, my action was 2.5, but then something like wood moved and now it's like 2.6 and I'm so stressed. And like, and I'm like, it's just 1 millimeter. Like it sounds funny, but yeah,
Yeah,
actually it
yeah.
is a big difference. Oh,
It, it,
We have Ilya here.
oh, yeah.
Hi,
Aloha.
hi, hi, UK, Selena, Seren? I can never remember your name. Sorry. Um, Okay, last question because
Okay.
before we get cut off because we only have 1 hour.
Okay.
What do you look for in ukulele when you decide to stock one for your shop?
Sound. Sound. As I said, I don't care about wood. I don't care about price. I don't, nothing. It has to sound good and it has to feel good. And this is very personal. You know, when I pick up a uke and I don't like play it, then I don't have it in my shop. You know, and of course I have ukuleles that I like more than others. And I mean, you cannot compare a 500 ukulele, 500 euro ukulele to a 5,000 euro ukulele for sure. But in this price range, like let's say 500 euros, this is the best one that I know, and I know actually all ukulele makers in the world. So this is I pick the ones that I as a musician want to play, want to play and want to hear, and then on top of that, it has to be a reliable company to produce decent quality and consistent quality. But this is on top. So the first thing, really, like you've seen it in Frankfurt when I picked this up from the table with Antonio. Didn't know what it was. I didn't know that it is a flight ukulele. So and I played the first chord and said, yeah, this is a good ukulele. You know, this is sound. This is all I care about.
I think you are very peculiar with your ukulele choices
No.
because sometimes you love something. But what about, I don't know, if you don't like something, but your customers like, this is
I
like,
don't care. Like I don't want to talk bad about companies. So not on Instagram. Like you know my opinion about several uke makers, but just look at my lineup and
mhm,
look at how there are 4Ks on Hawaii. There are
yeah.
3Ks in my shop.
Mhm.
There must be a reason for it, you know. So it's just personal taste, and there if somebody wants to buy a kamaka or wants to buy whatever, wants to buy another flight ukulele or kala ukulele, there are several options where they can buy it. So I don't have to. I think it's not my job as a musician to just have everything that is available in stock in my shop. You know, my my idea is that I have to select the ukuleles for my customers because they probably don't know. You know, I have more experience in instruments, and I'm traveling around the world more than they do. So this is my job to hand select the ones that it's personal taste. Okay, yeah, but I cannot do anything else. It's just my taste. So if I don't like an ukulele and my customer wants to buy it, I say, then I might even give them like Harry Leleland. I might even send them to other shops and say buy it there because I know that they have like I know what to buy Kamaka. I know what to buy other flight ukuleles or Kala or Ortega or whatever. I have many people come into many, not too many, but every now and then a customer comes and wants to buy and wants to spend like 50 euros or 100 euros for an ukulele. Obviously he is in the wrong place. So I sent him to Harry, to the Leleland, which is like 10 minutes with a car. And, you know, so I will not change my lineup only because I know that people would buy that. It's not my cup of tea.
I think it's like really, really like respect. No, yeah, we have a lot of respect for you for this because you're like
Thank you.
you don't care so much about market demand, but for
No.
you it's important your personal taste and like
Yeah.
whether you like the instrument.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for us, that's why it was really important for us that you like the